Brazil made their debut on international soil last year here in Katowice. This year they will be in the finals, but we still don't know who they're going to be playing against, and we are about to find out. Will it be the dangerous Danes of Astralis or the supersonic Swedes of Fnatic, who have been absolutely emphatic? And I'll stop there with the poetry because we've got a game to dissect. It's going to be huge, guys. This is a rivalry that Midsummer and the TSM banner, that was the kryptonite of Fnatic, but so far no one has been that since Dennis has joined.
It's Astralis. To answer your question, who's going to join Luminosity?
Well, there you go. All right. Well, I guess the segment is over. Let's go to the casters.
That's it.
I mean, obviously, Astralis has been in a slump since the end of last year, beginning of this year. But ever since Barcelona and maybe the week leading up to Barcelona, I think they've started improving again. I think they've shown some of their old form, and I think most importantly, they've regained that confidence that they've been missing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I did pick them from the very beginning as well, so I've kind of got to stick with them here as well. I think they're in excellent form. Sip has been out of his mind, and whatever internal trouble they have, maybe they have some things to discuss, but I still think they're an extremely powerful team right now. I also worry a little bit about Fnatic having sort of the one game, then a long break here. And
yeah, that's huge.
And Astralis, they just show up now to play now. It could kind of work both ways, but I think it's going to work more against Fnatic right now.
Astralis, remember, didn't get necessarily sleep in. They were here for the team walk-in in the morning, but they would have had the rest of the day off. They could have left.
They went back to the hotel.
Exactly.
They went back to the hotel to rest.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, that's aggressive. We're not going to do the traditional walk-ins this time because the players are ready. They are keen to get going, but we will show videos of each team, and we'll start off with the favorite. It has to be said, despite you guys leading the other way, the world #1 team right now, Fnatic.
The return to the Spodek Arena in Katowice will bring back fantastic memories for Fnatic, who were able to claim the major title here just 1 year ago. Will that same performance be repeated here this year with the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship up for grabs? A team with names such as Olaf Meister, Crims and JW will certainly be up there challenging. Fnatic were undoubtedly the team of 2015. Their dominant performance over an entire year, including multiple major victories, cemented their position as the team to beat. The change of roster in November 2015 saw longtime in-game leader Pronax drop out of the team after a disappointing loss to Envy in the early knockout rounds of DreamHack Cluj-Napoca. Pronax was the key to Fnatic's initial success, being brought in as the in-game leader. His replacement, Dennis, was met with both skepticism and excitement from fans and had some real big shoes to fill.
So there we go, Fnatic once again in this tournament. Again, 5 in a row unbeaten, but they build into this. They had a slow group stage in many ways. And even still now, we have questions about them going into this semi-final. We're not convinced, but we can never rule them out. We can never rule them out. I'm going to say that one more time. Does anyone want to agree with me?
I'm actually okay. So we came out. I was talking actually with Lord and his I think girlfriend. I don't want to get that wrong.
Lady friend.
His
lady
partner.
friend.
Yeah,
his partner.
Yeah, partner.
Smooth.
But she actually had a really interesting theory, which is that Fnatic actually they showed mercy against Virtus.pro earlier today. Because they could have won 16-3 or 16-2, but instead they just started messing around, making silly mistakes, and I was like, this actually makes a lot of sense.
Nice lady friend to have.
Dude, she's balling. Wow. I was just like, you are so on the money.
Crush.
You are so on the money. But this kind of ties into my next point, which is that Fnatic, not only have they had all day to wait, and they haven't really been able to go back to the hotel to rest and to take it easy, they didn't have like a really tough match either to get the blood pumping, to get things going, to work out the kinks and really get fired up for the match. No, they've just been like, okay, well, we beasted, Virtus.pro. It was a quick 2-0. Everything went according to plan. We didn't really feel too stressed or tested. And now we have to go up against Astralis, who look like they're in top shape right now, like the best shape we've seen in months. So this is, I think this is a bit of a stressful situation for Fnatic, where they're just going to have to really, that core friendship that they have is what they're going to have to rely on right now to keep the spirits up and to keep joking around and keep taking it lightly, because otherwise Astralis are going to make short work of them. And
you mentioned Astralis, the only team in the groups that went 5-0. They topped Group B very convincingly. And they do come into this in some of the best shape they've ever been in. Joe Miller's a legend. His voice will guide you through their journey as well.
The former TSM lineup made headlines in late 2015, leaving their organization and going it alone to form Astralis. The Alongside the new lineup, the team brought in a legend of the Danish Counter-Strike scene, Zonic, as their coach to help push the team to new levels. The team left the last major at DreamHack Cluj-Napoca with a 5th to 8th position finish that will have surely left the team hungry for more success in 2016. Their defeat at the hands of Luminosity at DreamHack Leipzig 2016 left fans of Astralis looking for more, and a strong showing here at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships will no doubt go a long way to boost their confidence as we move towards the first major of the year.
So there we go, Astralis with an incredible group stage. Crossover format means Fnatic now slip into this side of the bracket and go up against them. This was a good rivalry. I can't say it's on the level of LG and Navi. I don't think anything can be right now, but it was a good rivalry for a bit of time. And TSM, when they were formerly known as that, had the upper hand. Things have changed. Going into this game, I got the map pool. We've got Overpass to start, Cash second, which is a bit peculiar to me for Astralis' side, and Inferno as the decider if needed. Now, you were kind of touching on this as well, and we're a bit peculiar about some of these maps.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic is in a tough situation here when it comes to vetoing against Astralis, right? Because they kind of stepped away from Mirage as well. Train is a good map for Astralis. They don't play Overpass either. Cobble here and there. Okay, Astralis bans that, so whatever they veto, something's going to go through for Astralis, and in this case, it was Overpass, one of Astralis' best maps historically, right? So I think that they're favorites on that one at least.
Yeah, I have to agree. I actually think Astralis' T side on Cash isn't too bad either. What's really confusing is the CT side is horrendous. So, like, I think we could have. I expect that they'll win Overpass. I think we'd have like an interesting start to Cash if it's that T side, and we might be like, oh, they're going to 2-0 Fnatic. But I think that's not going to happen. I think Fnatic will fight it back almost no matter what on that map. So does that mean Inferno?
Now I know we're
this-
already going to have a long night, but can we all just agree that Inferno would be like a bloodbath between both of these teams?
This is an absolute
Absolutely.
bloodbath.
That would be like
Yeah.
super sick if we could get to a third.
I mean,
map.
we're pretty deep in. I might as well keep going at this point here. I feel like, you know, just
The thing is, what you said about Astralis on Cash, that is true historically, right? But in their game against Tempo Storm, right, they had a great, I think, 12-3 or 13-2 city half. But then they really struggled to close that out. I think in that 16-13, so Tempo Storm almost managed to claw their way back into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just focus continuing on Overpass, because we've seen the changes that Astralis have been trying to make, Device being the primary operator. There was a time when they were shuffling between he and Kerrigan on this map. We now know it is Device pretty much 100% of the time. It's been a lot, I think, actually more consistent for them. And how does Fnatic, now we saw a pretty impressive Fnatic earlier, but again, not challenged. How does Fnatic approach this? Aggressive, passive? Is it just going to be straight up brawling like they normally do?
I mean, it's always the same story with Fnatic. I don't think they're going to change their game style at all, even though they play Astralis. You know, I think that a huge problem for them is going to be exactly this, the fatigue, right? Because they were here since the early morning, since the opening ceremony, played the game, and then stuck around, you know, waiting for the last game of the day. I know some of their players are also feeling under the weather a bit, you know, and that's really important for Fnatic because of their playstyle. They're not a team that can, you know, if they're players are not on point individually, they have these crazy strats they can fall back on. They have a couple of strategies here and there, right? But it's not their forte, so to speak, right? I think that it's going to be an extremely close game, and I feel that it's going to be Astralis taking it in the end.
Do you
you
feel
say
like
something. Which boat are you on here?
you know? I'm actually kind of. I might get on the Astralis hype train here.
Just remember where you live, Sam.
Yeah, I know.
And remember where he
honorary
lives,
Swede,
right?
You know, the Dane. But
mean,
sometimes you got to look out for you.
I don't have a choice. I kind of have to be on the Astralis team. I know Moses, Tiny Moses, is on the Fnatic train, and you know I brought the long tie so I can spank him later on when I turn out to be right. That's what it is, man.
Yeah, you haven't been shamed yet on Twitter for that. He looks much better today, I have to say. I like that tie.
Semler tied it.
Ah, that makes sense. See, that's why Moses
actually
has
don't know. I
Besides
don't know.
my ties as well.
Moses,
I just tie
was calling
everybody's
him out.
tie. You know that, right? Like,
I know, and Henry's got the double Windsor. Moses tied his own single Windsor. Sorry.
Pleb.
Sorry. 10 points docked from Gryffindor for a poor...
Man gets a suit
uniform.
like that. He better know how to tie a tie. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know, right? I know.
That was a baller suit.
It is. It looks good. I'll give him that. I will 100%
It actually-
give him
It
that.
is actually.
I'm a bit jealous of that, actually.
He's a sexy beast.
Hate
is
to
what.
admit it.
This is where we've dissolved to at this point
it's
tonight.
just
Just
gone
wrecking
off the
Moses
rails.
when he's not here to
You know,
defend
somebody's got to
himself.
stand up for him, right? You know, so
I mean, I think
for
this-
once,
I think-
I'll back my American
I think
side,
this
my NA
is
side.
no, guys.
And you know
come
a
on,
good suit when
guys,
you see
stop.
it, so that's
This is too harsh. I mean, the guy's a mess all by himself. And I mean, you also have us wrecking. I mean,
Subtle
what even is
savagery.
this?
I like it. I
No
like
mercy,
it.
man.
Right
No
over there as
chill.
well.
Are we going to see any of those boosts potentially from Na'Vi suddenly get implemented? Let's not forget Fnatic coined the boosting on this map. Is there any chance of change?
So-
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, here's the thing. So you know, you look at the stuff, and it looks so incredibly cool, right? Turns out actually it has been out for a while on YouTube. Trilix, if you guys know who he is, has been doing it. I talk to him every once in a while about similar things. So basically, it's actually been out for a while. The problem is, you need time to do it. You can't just like improvise a triple boost like that because, again, the risks are so heavy. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up spending, you know, a good 15, 20 seconds doing it, and that's not, you know, viable. You need to have it planned. Just like with run boosting. Run boosting looks amazing, but you can't just be like, hey, let's just do a run boost now. You know, you got to have time to practice it. So unless they've done it already, I don't think they can just look at that last map and be like, all right, let's put it in there. But doesn't mean they can't come up with something else. Again, like Overpass is one of the most sort of underdeveloped map when it comes to strats and small tricks and weird things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I hate to be cliche, but a new meta map. And that is a very different design. Low walls, open world, high skyboxes.
Mainly that you can
It's got a
actually
lot.
reach the both of the sites with different nades, right? You see, now you're starting to see some adaptation come out where B site defenders will throw flashes. If there's a push up onto A site, they'll chuck a flash over the wall to try and slow the terrorists down. And now we're also starting to see terrorists start to get those smoke, well, CTs and Ts, you know, get those smokes down onto the lower site to try and sow confusion. I mean, it's very, the map is wide open still. It never went that far, but like Olaf boost, right? You know, it scared people away from innovation on the map.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, innovation, that's why I'm a fan of new maps coming into the pool, right? You get to see who really is clever. It's one thing to mimic a strategy and a style of game that's been around for years and years and kind of you make it a loose adaptation, but it's one thing entirely, or another thing entirely, to create your own on something that's new and have to be the pioneer of it. I respect that a lot. Look, I'm an advocate for a larger map pool for that reason alone. Maybe not.
No, God, no.
Throw them off the side here.
Listen,
it's a low railing. just
Maybe
gonna
not
push
in one
No,
season,
listen,
but
I
see, like a yearly. Let's
Stop,
we can swap it
stop.
out. I'm going to stick with it.
No. What we can do here is, which map would you replace for Nuke?
I don't know if Nuke's the one that I would put in, to be honest. Not
Cobblestone.
yet. It needs work.
Over the rail.
You know what? I might actually. I'm going to say it right now.
This.
It might be Inferno. Just tidy it up a little bit and bring it
Or
back
Cobblestone.
after.
Cobblestone.
Maybe
please.
Cobblestone.
Well,
yeah.
someone's already found like the remake files of Inferno, so
It's true.
Apparently.
chances are there's something going on there.
Yanko? Which map would you give the axe?
Inferno.
Inferno.
That used to be my favorite
Or
thing.
Cobble. I mean, the thing is, Cobble, in a sense, it's too T-sided in a way, right? But why did I want to cut you off, right? Because you need to put yourself into players' perspective.
No, I get that.
They already
totally
have a 7-map pool.
Oh, that's why I said I would leave it as 7, but maybe alternate it for each major rotation or something along those lines. I think there's still
Yes.
some adaptation.
So what you're talking about is a seasonal map pool.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of that. I think it's a really good idea to say, I mean, you obviously have to discuss how long is a season. You can't just have like a 3-month season and then players have to do new maps again for some reason. But it'd be kind of cool to have like maybe a core, but then every once in a while some of them get switched out. And,
So let's just,
Like tennis,
I
have
wonder right
different-
now.
Yeah.
Different surfaces.
Well, I wonder right now, it seems to be hard enough for teams to deal with 7 maps as it stands. If we're rotating maps all of a sudden, it's probably like the end of like half the pro scene's
But hang
career.
on, like when you had the old Nuke, Virtus Pro and NIP were the 2 most successful teams on it. You took that out of the pool.
And
We
Astral.
know what happened to NIP. And
I've been
Astralis,
triggered.
TSM.
He didn't play.
But the point is, if there's different maps, yes, there's going to be inconsistencies. That gives other teams maybe a shot in the dark at things.
And we can make this a safe space. It just takes one quick push. Yanko.
I don't accept.
I only use it on the outsiders, Sam. Come on.
Look, I don't.
That is one
I
of
know he's
us.
one of these.
I don't accept the
Not the
idea.
smartest guy, but we love him.
Right.
It's all right.
Look,
Canada.
I don't accept the idea that it's too hard for teams. I think teams like Luminosity are proof that hard work can definitely make you a master of very many things in a very short amount of time. I think it's about taking it seriously and being hardworking. I think those are like the 2 things. I think it's definitely possible for a team to be good on 7 maps and also sort of alternate some of them every once in a while. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I just think a lot
need to-
of players don't want to put in that time.
Come on, guys! You need to remember, how it was like when they introduced first Cobble and Overpass. Only a couple teams played it. It was a long time before teams started picking it up. Right now, it's a year and a half, maybe even a bit more since those maps are introduced. It's not just introduce them so that you learn to play them as a team, right? It's also individual players learning their spots, learning the timings, and so on. And it's a big process. So you have that with the 7, even if you keep the 7 maps, but rotate 2 maps, let's say, every couple of months, it's the same challenge for the players.
I think every couple of months would be mad. I accept the idea that a season could be a year, essentially, but then, you sort of...
All right, that's...
like I'm saying, I think it's up to discussion how long a season is. I think a couple of months would be mad. I don't think it would make the game interesting either, because you'd never get, like, the specialist players, you'd never get, like, the deep play, but...
No. It's simple, guys. It's simple. Valve taught us the way. They showed us.
The Cobbleizer?
Just showed us the light. And that's the randomize every time.
Yeah, Cobbleizer.
You actually don't get any bans anymore. We'll just take it a step further, right? You know, say, guys, you got cold feet. You didn't go the distance. We found the solution. Out of 7, you just get a random map, and there you go.
I do want to go back to what you said, though, Yanko, because you said that it took about a year for them to play it. I think it was because it was like pulling teeth. To what Anders said, if teams took the initiative sooner, they could learn it if they weren't, I don't want to say the word lazy, but proof, case in point, I know you would. I didn't. I'll let you be the one to throw yourself under the bus. But if you look at Flipside and Mouse Sports early on Cobble, the first iteration of Cobble, they were picking up upset victories against Tier 1s now, admittedly
SK
best of ones, SK as well, against Tier 1 teams because they were playing it, because they took the initiative.
I know, but that's always, that's what the underdogs will go for. I know Barry, I think if Barry played in SK, then he would always go for it. His kind of a tactic is go for the maps that teams don't play, figure them out. If you remember SK, when they were with him, they were good on Overpass, Cobble, Train, right? Because if they meet a team because most of teams like playing standard maps, because it's easier, as you said, it's hard mastering those maps, so they get an advantage that way. But it's not every team has a fallen. If you're gonna pick up a new map, or either you need to have one guy who knows a lot about it and can transfer it to his teammates, right? Teach them as well how the map is supposed to be played, or you need to have 4 or 5 individuals who are either very skilled players so they can adapt to it really quickly, or just guys who will put in a lot of work and be on the same page and say, okay guys, there's a new map out, let's all play it as much as we can, try to figure it out, it will give us an edge.
I mean, it is true, not everybody has a fallen, and obviously that's a huge engine it seems in the whole Brazilian scene, right? So that helps a lot. But I think what these guys do have is they have coaches and sports psychologists, and they have huge funding from really, really big organizations that say, you guys are going to be professional now, we'll put everything behind you to do it. And I know from talking to some people who are on various teams, shall remain unnamed, but say, well, sometimes it's actually really hard to get my teammates to focus on these things.
Yeah, exactly.
We can have a team meeting with
exactly.
we can have a team meeting with 5 people and try and discuss something, and only really 2 out of 5 will actually worry about what's going on. The other 3 won't.
You know what's the main problem with that? I think that still the majority of players started playing Counter-Strike for fun, right?
Yes.
It's only in the meantime that it became something they could maybe earn some pocket money, then some more money, now make a living out of. And the stuff we're talking about here is the most boring things you have to do as a Counter-Strike player. Now, I agree, if you want to be a pro, you have to do it. It's like something that's going to give you that extra edge to be the best. But I understand, why some players are reluctant to do it.
This is so interesting. You're almost sort of paraphrasing something I've been thinking about for quite a while in my mind. And I think the answer to it has to be, I don't think fun is like, sort of the opposite of being a professional. I think it's possible to be very professional but still have a lot of fun. I think that's where the players need help to sort of make the transition from having fun in your bedroom to actually being a professional player.
Well,
I'd love to see that.
I just want to say a quick one. For me, fun is when I'm winning. So I'll do whatever it takes to
There you go.
Well,
that's the mentality.
You are always winning on the desk, Yanko. Thankfully, because you never were in-game. But we do have 2 professional organizations who do put hard work in. Astralis working out of an office now, and Fnatic, well, we don't really need to harp on them too much for victories. They are finally ready. It's our second semifinal. We're about to find out which team will join Luminosity tomorrow in a best-of-5 grand final for $250,000 plus. Don't ruin the moment. It's over to Moses and Pansy for the game.
It has just gone midnight here, and we have a game about to get underway, and my God, it's going to be a good one. Of course, I am joined by Moses. How are you feeling about this, buddy?
Every fairy tale always begins with the clock striking midnight.
Yeah, things go down after dark. Who knows how this is going to go? There's a lot of phrases we could go to here, but it is Fnatic up against Astralis. This is a matchup that could have been a final in most people's eyes. These two have met so many times before, have an illustrious history back and forth. Recently, far more into the favor of Fnatic than Astralis, but...
Everything's been in the favor of Fnatic recently. So it's going to be up to Astralis to put a stop to it, meet up with those Brazilians in the final, see what can come from that. And these were the, I mean, Astralis and LG were the two teams that looked the best in the group stage, storming through. But, you know, it always comes back to the fact that it is Fnatic.
And there were options. There's a couple of theories going around on the desk that maybe, you know, the weight, the sit back, the timing might work against Fnatic finally. There might be a chink in the armor that may not be of their own cause, but it could be there. Now, the desk is actually supporting Astralis a fair bit here. We've seen the map pool, we've seen these players, you've seen the group stages. Where are you standing on this?
You know, I mean, I was so impressed with how Astralis looked in the group stage. I thought that was incredible level that they hit that we hadn't seen out of them in some time. That's the way you want this team to play, despite some of the struggles they've had dating back towards, you know, Cluj, the previous major. You know, that level they hit was so impressive, but I still can't bring myself to go against Fnatic. These guys are just like whenever, and they've even said it in interviews, you know, they always play better when it's a clutch situation. I think their players have the best chemistry together. I think that chemistry that they have elevates them all as individuals to levels that, you know, we haven't seen other players really hit consistently. Yeah, so I'm just going to side with Fnatic on this one. Although I do think it'll go to 3 maps. I think it's going to be a little bit of a battle.
Is this going to be a late night, or at least an early morning, I guess we're going to now?
Yeah, it's going to be an early morning. And I would love to see that Inferno. That Inferno would be so much fun.
It'd be beautiful to watch. The perfect final map to decide who'd make it to those grand finals here. The Intel Extreme Masters, of course, everything is on the line between these two. They've had to wait so long, but it's now their time to play. First map coming up will be Overpass. Let's kind of break this one down a touch. It was obviously hit on the desk a fair bit here. It's been kind of talked, not necessarily to death, but certainly to a big degree. This has been a good map for Astralis recently. They've been showing some good power here with Device, you know, finding some real freedom with the AWP, hitting some great shots throughout it. But will Fnatic have any of that?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to battle back from it. Device is certainly going to get his. The big thing...
Sorry, hold on.
It's late for all of us here in
It's all
Poland.
getting weird now, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, this is what happens at midnight, right?
That's insane. That's some crazy stuff. But the cool thing, one of the things that both of these teams actually do on this map is it does come down a lot on their T sides to this Device and no surprise, Olaf. But at times they send both of these players, they're kind of like the lone players on this map, whether usually out towards long A, while their teammates are causing a ruckus somewhere else in the map and they're distracting and taking fights. It's one of those players who just takes, you know, the big risk. The star players, just single, lone person, push up towards long, try and figure out when the rotation comes in and try and find a one-on-one battle in that A bomb site. And that can just peel apart the defense so effectively.
No mouse lifting to be seen. But as I said, big heavy hitters on the Fnatic side who come into their own. Olaf has been an outstanding performer on this very map as well. Not too in the distance, you know, history, I guess, for these guys. And he's always delivered here, and especially on the big stages. And even earlier today, he had a bit of a good performance as well.
These teams actually on this map played one of like the most epic single map games I've seen in CSGO, and that was the first ESL Pro League finals, when it was to get out of group stage, when both of them had been upset in the early stages. I think it was actually LG that beat Astralis, then TSM. And then it was CLG that upset Fnatic. So these two played for the decider of who was going to get knocked out of the event on this map, and it was a 16-14 win for Fnatic. It was an incredible game. So coming back onto this map, they obviously have a little bit of history with it. And both of them play, I mean, they play some pretty similar styles when you think about it. Both like to control bathrooms at the A bomb site. Over in B, you know, they play a little bit more passively at times, playing in water behind the bomb site and making sure they control that. Once the execution does come in, just keeping that kind of control of the bomb site for when the retakes do come in. So it's going to be just very, very interesting to see what kind of, you know, how these teams decide to try and break into these sites. It always comes down on this map to that stairs control and those bathrooms control, because that's what allows you to rotate between the bomb sites as terrorists, and it's so crucially important.
And it's slightly worrying when you're seeing players get up and move. This is going to go later, guys. You've got to be here for the long haul. If you're a CS fan, you are all about staying up for this one. It's all about the dedication here, guys. #passion. Screw the StarCraft, guys. We got it right now. We're going past midnight. Sorry, guys. I saw Paul on Twitter being really supportive. That's very kind of him. But it doesn't matter. These two teams are going to be battling out pretty soon. They do have some recent history here as well, playing it out on, I think it was during Fight Night. It was just, you know, quite a, I guess, quote-unquote fun tournament in a way. But another close matchup. Fnatic did pip them to the post 16-13. So, again, not exactly strangers to this, especially in the recent days. But we are going to get a little update as to what's going on. The players seem to be warming up still, just taking their time on this. But we can start talking about Cash as well. Quite a curious pickup into this one. Maybe not what everyone expected, but certainly what people are looking forward to.
Yeah, we just saw both these teams in Barcelona, and I mean, even among every team that was there was no Cash played at that event. So it's pretty cool to see it being brought out here, because it was a popular map for some time, even among European teams. But we did actually see Astralis play it during their group stage. They played it against Tempo Storm, and this is where kind of Anders mentioned on the desk that he was a little bit suspect of their CT side, where they had like a big terrace half lead, and Astralis, I mean, there was a little bit of a comeback by Tempo Storm into it, but they still ended up winning it out. It's admittedly probably not their strongest map. They probably don't feel super confident on it, super comfortable, but either way, it's going to be played here tonight. So that might, I mean, this might be the situation where we get that Inferno.
It seems like that's the gateway, isn't it? That's the possibility. They met again during the Fight Night. It's not a serious tournament to that sort of degree, but Astralis only managed 2 rounds, so maybe a terrifying one to come up against. But then again, Astralis didn't look like the Astralis that we'd seen recently during those group stages. Their group stage performance was outstanding. I hadn't seen Astralis turn up like that for a long time, so that's what everyone's kind of getting excited about, going, well, if they're able to do this, look pretty flawless, then maybe this is finally where they can start picking up these victories against Fnatic. Maybe they can start challenging, and maybe we get that 3rd map in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they did look so incredible. And then that, like they said, the only team to go undefeated, it was them and Luminosity, looked both the strongest, just came in and just took their groups by storm. So hopefully they keep that up here. That is always the big gamble, is it better to be that team who has a game earlier in the day and gets a smaller rest, or is it better to be the team that gets to rest all day and come in maybe perhaps a little bit cold? You know, it probably comes down to the teams. It probably, I mean, there's players that prefer it probably each way.
I'm sure there probably are out there.
Preferences. Explain.
It's gone midnight. It's all going weird, even on the caster desk, apparently. But no, it is going to be a curious matchup between these two. And I think this kind of also kind of notes towards what we were discussing earlier with Tempo Storm. How do they perform under pressure? These players hadn't been tested towards a stadium this size or a crowd this size. And some players, you know, you look at your Hennies, turned the hell up. He was hitting shots that were ridiculous.
Yeah.
It didn't equate to the bigger picture in the end, but it doesn't matter. You know, it proved the point that some players get nervous, some players thrive, and it's the same here. Some players will do better if they have that first game originally, get a little break afterwards, but they got the job done. And others will just, you know, prefer to just sit there, kind of think it through. You know, Astralis got to watch Fnatic earlier. Maybe they can get a couple of pieces out of that. Maybe they could work something out. But then again, you can never take too much if you look at just a player against another team or teams against other teams. It's not quite the same comparison.
Well, and also these teams have played each other so much. If you don't know what's coming up against you, I mean, that's a whole other issue to think about. But yeah, these guys are so familiar with each other, and it comes down to that kind of experience thing where, you know, maybe in the end this kind of discussion that we're having is a little bit useless because they have so much experience. It doesn't matter.
Changes everything.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what kind of situation, because they've been in all of them before on these big stages in front of the crowds. So yeah, I mean, this is just going to be who shows up, and it's going to come down to some of these early kills. Xyp9x has been a boss. The device, is he going to be able to pick people off? JW's returned to form. He's going to be a big factor that, you know, he's been lacking from this team for a couple months, just a little bit below the level we're not used to seeing, but he's back now. So all of a sudden, Astralis has that new wrinkle that they have to go up against.
Well, this is the big point. There's a lot of specialists that people always account towards Fnatic being out there. You look at your JW with the flair of the AWP, always taking these aggressive stances or kind of these really adaptive routes and different styles every single round you go to. But actually, Device has been doing that pretty well as of late, especially on this map. CT side, you'll see him taking different fights, different places, taking that map control. You look at solo side players, or I'll stick with that for now. And you often think of Crims, for example, but then Xyp9x has been coming towards the top of the headlines. He's been finding this.
He's a monster.
He has been playing out of his mind. This tournament has been one of his to certainly look towards. Dupree's probably, I guess, statistically outperformed him, but that doesn't equate to, I guess, the magnitude of what Xyp9x has been achieving over on that side.
It's so cool because you have Xyp9x on the Astralis side, and then you have Crims on the Fnatic side, and these two players are like kind of those fundamental players. Their positioning is so good. precision aim. It's just incredible what they're able to do when you can combine both of those. They're such effective players, and they're so cool to watch because the plays they make, you know, they're not always the flashiest, but like you appreciate them so much on like a deep fundamental Counter-Strike level. And those are like the hardest players to find. You know, there's not very many JWs or Olafs, obviously, or devices, but it's so hard for teams coming up to find those players that are just fundamentally sound. You know, they beat you by their movement and positioning and how they're able to manipulate the map in their favor. And it's really, really awesome to watch the way they can defend bomb sites.
I'm going to be extraordinarily excited to see this one. Xyp9x on that CT side, holding down B like an absolute boss. And Fnatic going to struggle to take any sort of part in that. Bearing in mind, Dupree often now backs him up by peeking down Monster super early, or just maybe taking control out there. It's so beautiful to watch these guys play. And if Fnatic are on that T side, excuse me, there is going to be a tough task here. But these guys will have a plan in mind. As you said, they know each other well. They've met before. They've met on these sort of high-tier stages before. There's no kind of unknown factor unless they've got something up their sleeve. And the one thing that Astralis was saying is, our communication's starting to work perfectly. We were hitting our shots. We've got some new things to pull out here, and everything worked through the groups. But can you do that against someone like Fnatic?
Yeah, well, that's going to be the tough part. That's the big test they're going up. But yeah, I mean, even talking to, you know, they came into this event with a lot of confidence, you know, coming in saying they had some really good practices. I know they had some big conversations with Anders, or Homeless Santa Claus, as I like to call him, telling him about how well practice has been going and just being so pumped up about their performance lately in these practices. And you take from that what you will, because it is just scrims and practice games. But it's one of those situations where they actually showed up and, like, I mean, they showed it off in group stage. So now it's, can they bring it into the next day?
This is the first time to see it. Big stage, waiting. But then Astralis aren't exactly the strangers to being halted at these sort of, let's say, linchpin moments. I'm sure there's other phrases we could go to for this, but they are certainly known for sometimes faltering under the pressure. And again, it's Fnatic standing their way. Certainly no easy feat. And I do believe, even if I can use my words, we are almost ready to start this. Again, just the players warming up, a couple of issues here or there that seem to have been resolved. So hopefully we get this one started nice and quick, because I don't think anyone else wants to be waiting too much later for this one to begin. Once it's underway, we don't care. We just got some good CS coming our way.
Building anticipation. That's what they're doing. Mind games.
Is that it?
You know, maybe they're just trying to freeze them out a little bit longer. Astralis being like, you know, you haven't played all day.
Is this the game plan, do you reckon? Just getting right
You never know. You never know with these guys. They are the Sith Lords. They got those, like, mind tricks going on.
I wouldn't even be surprised. That's the one thing. Out of all these teams, if anyone's going to do it, probably Fnatic, you know.
I love that. I love that they've been dubbed the Sith Lords of Counter-Strike. It's pretty incredible.
Oh, it seems like, there's the fly-through. This is looking like we're almost getting ready, guys. We could be getting excited for this one. Finally, this will be getting underway. The final game of, well, it's not even the final game of today, really, because we're into tomorrow at this point. So I guess the final day or game of this stage?
Yeah, well, final tomorrow, too. I mean, we can touch on that. It's a best of 5. That's going to be incredible to watch.
That's something different. That's what I'm looking forward to. Whoever gets there out of these two teams, to face off against Luminosity in that sort of setting, absolutely perfect. That's something you don't often get to see, so something to be really looked forward to and savored. And I don't know who I'd prefer to see that against. Personally, I'd like to kind of see Fnatic in that sort of situation, but then again, Astralis playing the way they did would give us a beautiful matchup as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a cool thing that LG plays such fun Counter-Strike to watch that no matter who they go against, it's going to be, it's always like some of the best matchups in Counter-Strike we have at the moment, like 3 of them involve Luminosity. It's like, and it's against, you know, teams like Na'Vi, Fnatic, and Astralis. The cool thing, you know, it's almost like you kind of want that feeling if they're going to win this tournament, they have to go through, you know, the Grandmasters. They have to go through Fnatic. You want them to, like, that team who's won the past 5 events in Counter-Strike, you want them to have to overcome that obstacle. So we will see which one it is, obviously, at some point.
So where was your bet again on this? Fnatic you were standing with. But do you think 3 maps?
I have no reason to go against Fnatic. It's so hard for me when I watch them play. I think that just the style of Counter-Strike they play is so effective. It's so hard to read. They have the best teamwork that I've seen, and it's oftentimes the teamwork really shines in situations where communication is sometimes impossible. Just during the heat of the moment, it's, you know, split-second decisions that are always the correct ones when they play with their teammates, and they do such a good job of covering for each other. So. I mean, and it's going to be tough. It's going to have to see which Astralis comes out today. Like, what is it going to be? The one from the group stage? Is it going to be the one that we've seen struggling? Because Fnatic hasn't had these struggles.
And the terrifying thing is that you kind of worry that this could be swings and roundabouts for Astralis because they are that team who can shy away, and this is almost the atmosphere for it to happen. They haven't had the time on the stage yet. This is their first appearance. Sure, they've been warming up. That's not even to question, but it's kind of worrying if they come out on this and they don't get to that big start. Fnatic start rolling, but. You know what? I think we've almost hit all the normal topics. We can start, divulging into map pools if you really want, and adding new ones in, removing others.
that was the funniest thing because you could see the rest of the desk is like breaking down around Anders, and he is trying so hard to have like a serious theoretical conversation about it.
It kind of sums up our green room as well to the vast majority. It's like Anders trying to have this, in-depth discussion about pretty much anything, and everyone else is just. I think is the only way I can put it without dropping people in it. But it seems though, after all my lies of saying I was almost ready, it actually is almost ready, and we can kind of keep the discussion of map pools aside for now. But you never know, we might decide to go back to that later, as it does seem as though the teams are ready to get the knife underway finally, after quite the anticipation, the teasing on the server. It is about to go down. So, Moses, closing thoughts coming into this one. I'm going to push you for what sort of game we're going to see from Astralis. Do you believe that they can turn up here and come out of this game hot?
Oh, absolutely. They definitely can. And I think it's going to have to start out. I think it is going to be that. I think there is going to be that battle over bathrooms and stairs. I think that's going to be a crucial thing to start out with because JW is going to get aggressive with his AWP at some point, whether it's out towards long, whether it's towards party, in the bathrooms, and Astralis is going to have to contain that because his style of opping, I've seen specifically on this map, JW is one of those oppers that with his mobility and when he's effective with that AWP, he controls the whole map. He dictates where you can go. So on this CT side now, where Fnatic is going to start, it's going to be a little bit of a scary situation where if JW starts going off early, all of a sudden Astralis' options could just start to get limited.
A chance to get a step closer towards what's on the screen right now. The trophy awaits the winner of this and another off to the back of it, of course. A tough route to take, but it's a route of champions, and if you don't go the longest way through, the toughest way through, I guess you haven't proven you're worth it. So we are seconds away from this, and it has been Fnatic sticking out on the CT side, as you noted. So Astralis is going to have to come into this one hot. A lot of teams, I guess, originally theoretically said going into the T side on your first game isn't always the bad thing. You have to start making those mental choices, have to start leading the game, and you do get warmed up, quote-unquote, quicker. But that was an NIP theory quite many moons ago, which maybe isn't so great.
Many moons ago, yeah. We've seen how that's worked out for him in recent times. A little bit of a jab there, but they did look
just
excellent.
Mean, dude.
They did look excellent.
Oh, now you're trying to backtrack on that?
Yeah, a little bit. Just let me have my moment.
Don't worry, guys. You look great, I promise.
Let me have my moment. No, they actually did. I was very impressed with how they looked in this event and the group stages with Threat. So cool things hopefully coming for those guys to get back on top leading up towards the major. Yeah.
Yeah, they suffered at the hands of one of these two teams, that being Fnatic, of course. The game on Inferno was something to be remembered. Brilliance shown by NIP, to be fair. They had a lot of that kind of, I guess people called it maybe the influence of Threat starting to show. You can hear the Danes get themselves ready, but Threat aside, all of that aside, is back down to this one. Fnatic against Astralis. I can't keep hyping this up like it's going to start, but I keep believing one day it may begin. But 20 minutes of discussing
it's that hope. It's that hope that you came in here at the beginning of the day with.
I had one map
I told
correct.
you it was fleeting. It's a fragile thing.
Me.
Finally now, the match is counting in.
Joel, you take it away.
Yeah.
I've been broken in the past, mate.
And we are live. The restarts come out in the freeze time here, and we're going to see what exactly Astralis is going to go with onto this T side. So Kerrigan's going to pick up a smoke. Armor so far on the rest of them. Device is going to have that raid boss buy, the Tech 9 and Armor. So could be the point man, could be someone who just kind of busts in second or third to kind of clean things up in kind of a tank fashion. And all 5 members of Astralis, actually Zipnix is going to go down in towards the sewers. He's going to meet Olaf Meisters, but Flush is going to push up and get a lot of information here.
Here we go. This is the second semi-final of the day, and this promises to be an absolute blast between these two. Astralis taking quite the aggressive stance, and already Zipnix and Dupree going to find Olaf and Dennis, and that is a brilliant beginning here.
Yeah, that's so key. That control is just destroyed. JW's got to try and make some kind of play. He gets punished as well. Zipnik's not getting caught off guard. He's got 2 kills in the round so far, and it's a free B bomb site. Flusha and Krim still both over towards the A site with nothing to do.
And Device is normally the guy you got to look at in these rounds. That Tech 9 play from him, normally bulldozering through the B site, hasn't even had to be gone towards. At the moment, the last 2 players, Fnatic being Crims and Flusha, one with Kit being Crims, the other, Flusha just has the armor. Gonna try and find something here, but they are so locked out of this. And look who's waiting. Carrigan just round to the side. Gonna get the shot off first, but doesn't land it cleanly. And actually it's Flusher to find the shot. And now Flusher will fall in the end. KGB and Dupree close it down. A good start there from Dupree and Zipnix, the two players who've been stepping up pretty massively throughout the tournament so far, each in their individual way, to give Astralis that first round.
That was a sick read by Astralis. If they researched that, knew it was coming, the pressure downstairs from Fnatic, and they just collapsed upon it. Zipnix was just waiting to pounce, and 4 members storming down those stairs. Didn't even need to trade any kills. They just wiped them out immediately. Second round is going to be a buy up for Fnatic. You have the 5.7s, the CZs, the Scout on Flusha as well. All rifles for Astralis, so they're not going to have that aggressive SMGs with the mobility. They're not going to have a lot of nades to use to clear out position, so any early frags from Fnatic are going to be super dangerous going on. But there's the opening from Cajun.
There's still Olaf from Flusher, though, pretty close by. I wouldn't completely write Fnatic out. Doing damages this round, and that's the step towards it. Bomb now noted. Olaf tries to back away, but challenged out by Carrigan. Trades it through. Now, Dennis looking maybe for a reaction here. Gonna get the tag, not the frag. Almost claims that. Carrigan 3 HP. You said this could get dangerous, and it certainly has, but Astralis keeping it fairly safe. There's still Crimson Flusher, though. And this could still get deadly. They're going towards where these players can have a sort of impact.
Yeah, Cribs has just got to read this. He's got to get back up towards that A bomb site, because right now it's just Flusha, and he could be getting pinched from 2 different locations, so he's got to pick something. They know exactly where he is. Cajun's just holding the angle. Down goes the Scout. Just Crims with his 5.7, and there's nothing left he can do. Maybe try and get an exit kill. I don't imagine Astralis is going to care too much about trying to hunt him down. With the 4 rifles they still have on the board, there's no reason to lose one of those AKs for sure. Carrigan with the Glill's only got 3 HP, so I imagine that Astralis is just going to be content to take this round and walk away with it.
Good stuff from them, keeping those 4 rifles in the game as well. Crims gonna try and position himself, maybe to catch one solo player going out, maybe try and do some damage here. He's still looking for that, but absolutely lovely stuff from Astralis again. And I've got to go back to that first round as well. The presence of mind to understand the fact that JW will often go on that long flank around as soon as the hand has been shown, instantly coming to mind. I've got a feeling that Astralis are more than ready for this. If they keep up this sort of pacing, it's a very good sign. Still very early in the game, however. And there we go. The 4 players will remain. Crims gets to keep the armor and the 5.7, but that's 2 on the board now for Astralis. 4 rifles remain, of course, and now Dupree can go back in on the MAC-10, just go and try and farm up some of that cash.
Yeah, not a bad pickup, knowing he's going up against no armor in this round, just on Crims, who also doesn't have head armor, so that MAC-10 can be extremely dangerous to him. And that just means Dupree should be the one leading the way. No reason to risk any of those rifles. Device gets a convenient little run boost to start things off. Boost of speed, and he's actually, I mean, with the AK, he's just going to go straight through Monster, and he's not slowing down. He doesn't have any teammates with him. He's going to take this fight. He's going to win the first one against Olaf. And this pretty much gives him the B bomb site. There's Dupree, long range of the MAC-10, drops Flusha.
And I love this, no fear play, just going in, not messing around. We've got the rifles, we don't need to be too cautious. Okay, sure, with a little bit of making sure we land these shots, no worries, and that's exactly what they're doing. Device sprays down, he gets Crims through the wall as well. Now JW and Dennis trying to take a little fight here, and Device needs to be a little cautious. You don't want to drop these rifles, bearing in mind there is a lot on the board. Nice position from KGB, will catch JW, trying to make the dash out. And Dennis, quite far away.
Yeah, what's up, man?
He's just chilling.
Good stuff from Astralis, and that's kind of, that is a good way to open things up. You could see, I mean, I thought Dupree would lead the way. I thought they'd be a little bit cautious about it, but Device was just didn't care. Strolling in and that kind of confidence. You like to see it early on. It is against just an anti-eco, so knowing that he wasn't too fearful of any kind of rifle, obviously. But now we're going to see him drop the AK over. He's going to pick up the AWP. 5 rifles on the board for Fnatic. No AWP in JW's hands. And
the limited sort of
really limited
utility is absolutely bare as bones. They've only got 2 kills so far throughout those initial 3 rounds, so they can be working on very little. And of course, Astralis will know this. And look at Flusher, doesn't care, goes straight in on it, and there we go. Carrigan falls to his hand, and now 5v4. Fnatic don't care again. Look at the damage they're doing. Device gets punished, and Fnatic just laying the smackdown. And Flusher's had enough, and he's going to go for more, and he's going to get more. That's 3 this round from one individual player, just not giving in at this point. And there we go. This is still going. Flusher is going full man mode at this point. Device is the last man alive, and hell, he might be another victim to Flusher at this point.
Yeah, this is a brilliant round from Fnatic, and this comes down to setting the tone. One really cool detail about that is while Flush is pushed up and being aggressive, you want to talk about being able to just slide into any role needed at the moment, is Olaf throwing a smoke for Flusha that actually lands in that deep choke point, right past the playground. So that works out perfectly for Fnatic. Flusha is able to rack up the kills. Device has now been taken out of this round essentially from the start. He's got this AWP, 50 seconds left. He's gonna at least get a plant. I don't think Astralis even, I don't think Fnatic even realizes that this is a possibility that he can be in this B bomb site.
And of course, the air of caution that Device is duly showing is actually buying time for Fnatic to get a lot closer here, but not close enough to stop this, but they're gonna hear the smoke. And that nade, oh, Dennis! Just bringing it home.
It's a beautiful catch. Nicely done. So Fnatic get their first round on the board, and also, very importantly, they don't take very much damage. I mean, they only lose JW. Crimson Dennis, they have 100 HP, so more than likely they have 100 armor as well, so that's going to be just a very easy upgrade to have their head armor into the next round. So saving a little bit of money that way, but now they can get all the utility. So now it gets that much more difficult. You see 3 Molotovs on the board already. A 4th is bought up. 5 smokes to work with. Now, Astralis, with that plant, that does help in their economic situation. If they get another plant in this round, even if they lose, they're going to be able to buy. So they're pretty decently set in terms of their money.
3-2 beginning, completely avoiding any play off the aggression. See if it came out again. Turning their attention towards this B side, and already trades coming out through mid. And that's Olaf spraying in, maybe trying to catch more. And look how much Fnatic has to work with here. Crims is still on the site. The flash comes out, but Karrigan sneak it in. Xyp9x isn't too far away, and Karrigan can do a hell of a lot of work, and it's Karrigan and Xyp9x to do the damage. Now Karrigan has to hold back the flood, and he can't. It's down to a 2v2, and KGB is not on the side, but the bomb is down. Now they have to hold on to this.
Yeah, nice post-plant positioning, but still, look at the nades on Fnatic. There's only 1 flashbang on a Cage, and there's still 2 smokes, a Molotov, and HE on Fnatic. They have a good advantage in this. They're just going to block off both choke points. No one's tapped the bomb yet, so no reason for Astralis to panic, and they're going to boost up on these sandbags. Try and peer over the top of the smoke. It is smoked off. Oh, JW falls at just the right moment, and then he finds him on top. They know where the second player is now, and that nade brings him down to 8 HP. Spamming through the smoke, he can't get it done. A second round for Fnatic now. But like we mentioned, that plant in this round is going to allow Astralis to buy again.
A little shaky there from KGB, just taking that shot. Which is what I think it was JW adjust around, but the one thing is as well, I think on the side, it was Flusha in the end coming back around to try and get back into that one, but it was just the presence of mind to check everything. The flash is coming over. They instantly knew that the only player could be maybe tucked down all the way in Monster, or he's gone right round towards short, so instantly working out what's going on here. But Device is back on the op. Those plants have added up, as you've been saying, the money slowly building into the pockets of Astralis, even though suffering into these gun rounds. And a different posture here, a little more passive, but Dupree looking for the early challenge. Dennis on towards short, could be holding that a little more actively, and again, Fnatic, a different tone here and a different pace.
JW's got this AWP. He's got it out towards long right now, and he's going to peek this way and see absolutely nothing. Device is coming in delayed. He's got an op. So a little bit of a battle here, but JW's got the angle, but he gets flashed back. Nicely done from Device, but still, JW's going to go back for the peek, and Device punishes it. He holds the angle, and JW falls.
Lovely dominance on that spot there from Device. It will give them some footway, or at least foot into this round, should I say. Is now Flush is looking for an opportunity to maybe find something back for that, but KGB, Karrigan, and Device are giving it nothing. Fnatic as well, looking on towards B as other options. Can they recover one of these kills anywhere else? And Xyp9x, a master at this, not going to give him even a shot at it.
This is the crazy thing about Fnatic. Even when you get that opening kill, you've got to be very careful immediately afterwards, because Fnatic always looks for a way to find that equalizer. They're just going to get aggressive right behind losing a player and go for the big time play. Now Flush up, he does grab one. He's had a great game so far. That Molotov isolates the teammates of Cajun from trading it off. Swings towards bathrooms, but there's Dupree. Now Device towards long with the AWP. Flash over the wall. It's only Olaf here. The rotation is on, but Olaf's got to hold strong. He gets one, he gets a second as well. Beautiful job from him to delay as long as he can before getting taken out.
Only Olaf was a bit of a phrase. You got to question at times, and now sets up the rest of Fnatic to come in. Dennis finding Xyp9x, and now Dupree in a 1v2 has to go full man mode here. Crims is low, and as is Dennis, but that bomb safely in their clutches, and there is Dennis holding it close to heart. Fnatic pulling things back.
Yeah, those 2 kills from Olaf are great, and they're crucial, but the time he buys manipulating that smoke around the edges of it, Astralis has to spend so much of that clock just to clear him out of the position. The rotates finally come in for Fnatic. part of it also is just that aggression behind losing a teammate from Flusha. He gets such an early spot. He gets so much intel on where it's coming from, how many people are there. He's able to call it out, and that's what allows his teammates to get into better positioning. Now, this is the aggression from JW we're talking about. He misses that shot. Now he's going to fall away safely.
And Flusha was always there supporting as well, ensuring that no one came through the connector, ensuring no one could play that. He instantly held the angle on the push, so Astralis could never instantly chase that down. But you can see Flusha's still around pretty close by. JW's not too far in the back lines either, but Astralis have very little to work with here. A couple of Deagles and P250s.
And actually, Fnatic's given up complete bathroom control. Flusha now going to peek it. There he is. He finds the shoulder peek. He's got to be careful. Coming up the highway now. Cajun does fall. Dupree peeks as well, but he's got JW to support him. And that nade cleans him out. So 5-on-3 situation now for Fnatic. Defense still holding strong.
Yeah, they've got 3 players on the side. Device is going to find a bit of a beautiful shot towards JW, but it's not going to be followed up by anyone. And Olaf stamps down the hope that Astralis may have started to consider after that one shot. But there we go.
Now, here's the big question for Astralis in this round, because JW got aggressive with the op, went for that early pick up the stairs. Olaf, or actually everyone in the opening gun round, the 4th round, got heavily aggressive from Fnatic and pushed up towards the fountain, and they ended the round early that way. So Astralis has got to be very wary of the different aggression that Fnatic is throwing out at them, and that might slow them down a little bit. They've got to be careful. They can't lose too many players. And once again, this time it's going to be JW still aggressive. New angle. Device is looking for him to push up.
But look at Long as well. Flusha and Dennis are just going to push up there. They do not give up this map control in any way, shape, or form. Be it B, be it A, it doesn't matter, and they are going to show some presence. Dupree tries to swing out on it, but he can't find the shot. They've already backed towards at least a safer angle again, and now while this happens, JW's joining them. This is terrifying stuff for Fnatic, but they are holding this one down, and again, costing Astralis so much time, even earlier into this round. And here's JW. The bait peak is about to come out, and he has none of that. He lost it out before, doesn't fancy it again. And he's still got Dennis holding even closer.
Yeah, what this does, Dennis is now isolated. So you can see the smoke from Flush is going to buy him a little bit of time, and he might try and rotate back through the bathrooms through that smoke, or actually, there could even be a crack here. He might be able to find some kind of edge in that smoke that gives him a huge advantage. And just all the while waiting for Astralis. They have 4 members, 3 members directly about to pressure bathroom.
Zero control along for Fnatic, but will it matter at this point? Astralis building up towards trying to make a play off the back of this, but there's Flusha, there's Dennis. That crossfire that was set by that smoke comes into the action. Now Dupree and Cajun B at least trying to buy back here. Zipnix falls, and now Dennis on the swing out does get the tag, but can't finish the job. Cajun B again fighting hard, but by the time it swings down to it, Fnatic trading so perfectly, leaving just Dupree to make something happen. He's been working up Long so long, he won't even get a step towards the side. JW stops it before it starts.
Controlling bathrooms, Fnatic is doing it so well, and it's denying all this map control. Astralis is spending so much time, so many bodies. They're not being efficient in trying to push back this defense. So that map control that Fnatic has is preventing Astralis from doing anything they want. You can see them trying to take it, because if they can force them back, if they can keep their players alive and put the defense in the bomb site, then they can start manipulating rotations through the stairwell down towards the B bomb site, start throwing some fakes. But this time they've got to switch up the look. Heavy towards the B bomb site right off the bat for Astralis.
This is a nice switch up of pace. We haven't seen Fnatic have to deal with this yet, but they already have a lot of players looking towards it. Flusha and JW are actually going to start maybe even coming over as well. Dennis, Olaf, and Crims are the players towards the side. Dennis watching for that push-up, but it's Dupree to catch off Olaf. So now Dennis looking for more. He's trying to trade it up, but no. Nice work from Astralis, but still, back and forth kills coming through. But this has allowed Astralis to get that bomb down. And now Crims, Flusha, and JW weighing up their options.
Zipnix in such a crucial spot inside the bomb site, and he picks his time perfectly, but he misses the shot. Flusha punishes him for that mistake. Now down to a 3-on-2. Still a lot of utility for Fnatic to use. Flashbang comes out towards Monster, blinds Cajun and Device completely. Good advantage for Fnatic, gonna swing out as Crims. Device takes him down, but there's JW with the op. Trades go out that way. Device still blind, down at red HP. Smoke goes down in the bomb, and actually JW just plays it perfectly and through the smoke. JW, an incredible play. He's gonna get the defuse on top of it.
And look at Olaf, he is loving that. Instantly, they all light up, their faces knowing exactly what just happened, JW. Everyone been saying, Joel, this guy's finding a little bit of that old JW style, that little bit of magic, that little bit of ridiculous stuff you just cannot do, and look at it. Waits it out, bam, unbelievable. That's 3 kills that round, remembering. That wasn't just, one just to close out. That was influential play again from that man. So, well, outshining Device really at this point, but it's still early enough in this 6-3 so far, and JW getting that confidence, going for that pick. But it does mean the Astralis can start taking their way through towards maybe long or start trying to respond off the back of it.
Look at that Molotov from Flusha, just to assist JW in getting out. Such good teamwork. You could see Device, I believe it was, wanted to peek that, but the fire lands just as he's about to swing out to punish that aggressive play. So beautifully done from Fnatic. Go for the gamble, and when it doesn't pay off, they have the proper play to get him out of trouble.
But this is the instant kind of intuition that's shown by Fnatic. It's not even communication-based half the time. It's just understanding how to help someone. But here we go. This is a nice challenge, nice and close. Flusher and JW up on long. JW's going to back. And they wait patiently, allowing Dennis and Olaf to start showing presence. But cajunb knows what's up. But will he expect Olaf to still be here? He's behind 2 players. Device comes back around to check. This Device is going to get the drop on it. But no, they back away. And suddenly, that bomb's on the rotate. It could come down to just Crims to hold this for now.
Yeah, the question is, when does Fnatic read this? When does someone rotate back? Olaf is going to get aggressive. Peeks up towards the top of the sewer stairs, and actually Dupree's the only one out towards long. So it is going to be all on Crims. He's the lone man. He gets the first one. He's got 2 coming up catwalk, though. Is he prepared for this? Low HP comes out first, almost gets a third. Cajun gets dinked, and there's Olaf. Bides his time and pounces. And now it's all down into a 3-on-2. Kerrigan is going to plant the bomb, but the AWP through the box just ends that dream so savagely.
What smoke, Moses?
What box?
What wall?
Yeah.
What anything? It doesn't matter. And hell, he's chosen the sandbags, cajunb, but it doesn't matter again. JW is a monster at the moment. He's picking up these influential kills time and time again. And there's the pause coming out from Astralis, calling that one in, and it is tactical as well. And why not go for it? They need to stop the rot. Fnatic have been flawless in these gun rounds.
Yeah, they haven't dropped one yet. And despite, Astralis has had a pretty decent job of getting plants. They've gotten 4 plants. All 4 have obviously been defused. But Astralis has had no answer to this kind of play from Fnatic. And one thing that's so impressive from this Fnatic defense is how good they are at trading kills when the hit does come in from Astralis. Even when they have to rotate, all these kills are being traded out very quickly. When they get in these retake situations, it's been, at least even man. They haven't been in some kind of a 2-on-3 or 3-on-4 situations. It's always been 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s.
Credit to the players more than anything at this point on the Fnatic boys. They are absolutely outshining what even I expected, considering, as you said, Astralis aren't doing badly. Kill-wise, it's actually pretty close between the two. It's not even coming down to that. It is just these clutch situations that occasionally Fnatic, or say occasionally, more often than not, Fnatic will be closing out on, especially once they've got to these gun rounds. But still, Astralis, they've got to have had something in mind how to deal with this. You see this aggression pretty consistently from Fnatic, if I'm honest, but not to this sort of perfection. This is quite a beautiful level of CS coming out from Fnatic right now, with that sort of variety that they're bringing to the sort of forefront here. If you're Astralis, I don't know how much they can bring. I don't know how much they've thought, okay, well, when we're being pressured this much, what's our next play? How do we then bring ourselves back into this? Do we need to be super passive? Do we need to expect it? Do we need to take even more time getting to these sites? How do we then predict and control what Fnatic are bringing here?
Well, this is the tough part now, because with some of these buys that Astralis has had, the limited money, even with some of these plants, you can see the utility on Fnatic far outshines Astralis's. So when these aggressive plays from Fnatic come out, they have so many nades, they have so many flashbangs, Molotov smokes to use to fall back, and all the while Astralis has to spend theirs to try and get those kills. And when they're not getting kills on top of their utility, they just don't have anything left once the late round situations come in.
Look at this play from Fnatic. 4 players pushing up from A, all getting in their faces. Now Olaf's found Kerrigan, but that's not where the vast majority of where Astralis was. They were looking towards B. Now the bomb pretty far back here. Xyp9x is going to be trailing that one through. But Dupree and Device are on the B side. Fnatic working their way back around. This JW on the flank. And this is going to be another tense round. There is some utility left with Astralis. They can still build something towards keeping that bomb plant safe. But there you go. Dennis gets a little bit of a spot there. Now it's retake time for Fnatic.
Yeah, great advantage though for Astralis. They have solid positioning here. It's going to be JW biding his time on the flank. The other 3 members of Fnatic are going to have to be effective when they initially try and retake to give JW the window to pounce and flank here. Still a little bit passive. There come the flashbangs. Flusha and Dennis are going to be the first ones to challenge. Olaf gets one. And actually 2 more just stream out for Fnatic. Here's where JW comes out. Xyp9x is trapped all alone. Nade comes out. He does get that kill, but such a tough situation for him to be in. The defuse is already on. Xyp9x isn't going to be able to do it. So again, another retake for Fnatic as they rotate back.
Olaf Meister hitting some monstrous shots as well, doing that, just bounding back in and cracking open that well-set defense as well from Astralis. They had good positions. You'd Xyp9x watching the cross up towards the site, and everyone was in the right place, but if you're not going to hit the shots, Fnatic can just go rip it out of your hands and say thank you so much for that. That was really nice for you to try and get around, but we'll just keep going. We're on 8-3, but maybe you can pick up something in the pistol, who knows? So at the moment, Fnatic looking flawless, and again, this adaptation, this constant pressure from them, whether it's early round retakes. Let's find out if Dennis this time was jumping at the bit. And the instant response here, Olaf's now joined over with Dennis and Crims towards the B site, maybe responding to what we saw from Astralis last round, and a lovely play here. Dupree could spot something out.
Oh, the jump spots it though, and he actually goes for that fight. Nade comes out, a little bit of damage done, but the stack is broken up. That boost is pushed away. Actually, just a nice little underhand toss from Device over the wall, not going to do anything. Still spamming into the wall. Olaf's got to be careful. He's playing with fire here. But still, this is mostly stabilized. Cajun's an underpass, but there's no map control towards the A side of the map.
Olaf may play with fire. He was the player on this very side to be dancing in those flames and still get the defuse. So Astralis is still going to run the gauntlet here. Already a couple of players through. Xyp9x sneaks his way out. Crims knows this. He's going to check it out, and there, the timing on that is unreal. He gets the fight he wants. Karrigan will trade it out, but the only difference this time is finally Device gets into the action here. Smoke still into place. Going to be put down again by Device. Maybe consider the option of applying the bomb, but left, right, and center, Fnatic are finding these kills, keeping the advantage in their favor, and causing Astralis to work so hard. But bomb down in a bit of a tricky predicament, let's say. This is going to be a tough one from Astralis to try and find some of these kills.
Yeah, 25 seconds left. And Dennis just biding his time. Spotting Catwalk. Is Flusha aware? One is so incredibly close. And neither has been spotted, but they're finally low HP. Device is down. And now they can just tag team him. The trade is in. Flusha does get it. Cajun cannot adjust in time. So still, Fnatic poured on thick. And actually, one small issue in that execute for Astralis is that they left the bomb so far back. Karrigan was supposed to come up right behind on Xyp9x's hip to trade any kind of kill to support him in any way that he can, but he had to turn around to get the bomb. So Xyp9x was very, very isolated, all alone. That's what allowed Crims to get aggressive like that and clean him out.
Fnatic had another mark to the board. 9-3, JW back at it, gonna go for that initial shot. And look at instantly Astralis trying to overwhelm this, but we've seen so far that generally doesn't go too well, especially when Flusha is there to support. Olaf as well comes into it, but only Flusha's nade can be the one to make the difference. Trades out pretty quickly. These are faster kills coming in, but the faster response from Fnatic hasn't been working so perfectly. Finally a deficit. Fnatic have to fall back. Finally have to play a little bit more passive, a little bit more cautious, and see what Astralis can now bring. Very quick pressure from Astralis this time. 1 minute and 20 was still on the board. So, Dupree, Device, Karrigan, Crims or JW, where do you go?
This is a round with this kind of an advantage that Astralis has. They cannot afford to lose this. JW is going to be the one at the B bomb site. They're just going to split things up. No, Crims is actually not all the way towards A. He's just waiting and watching towards short. So see if there's going to be any kind of information gathered here. The question is he going to rotate back? Because Astralis is slowly pushing towards the A bomb site. At what point, when Fnatic feels no pressure at B, does Crims make his move to go back towards the other bomb site? And it seems like instead he's actually committing fully more towards B, and now he hears the footsteps. So now it's up. They know exactly what's coming, but so far out of position, and JW is incredibly low.
So it's looking beyond possible here, even for your Fnatics.
Well,
is still looking though.
The money on the Fnatic side is so bad, actually. Despite the fact that they've won 9 rounds in a row, losing this, if they don't have any rifles to drop over to save into the next round, they're going to have a full save go out. So Crims here, he's going to get 1 kill. Is he going to fall away, or are they going to try and hunt him?
Crims is looking for this, and Jesus, he almost took down Device then, but not going to equate it to anything beyond that. Now JW's the one left in this sort of spot. He has to pretty much stay alive here. As you said, the money is not well supported on the Fnatic side. They've been losing a lot of players in the last 2 or 3 rounds. They've been down to 1 member, 2 members. They've been closing the rounds out, of course, but it has been close. And finally, Astralis get a gun round on the board. The aggression, the follow-up after the initial trades finally goes in their favor, and they get the bathroom control and push through to the site, get the plant, and there you have it. Finally, it makes it sound easy, I guess, if you just say it like that, but finally they managed to do it.
Well, as well, getting the first kill, the trades could go in their favor, and also once they get those first couple kills, they're immediately prepared for the aggression from Fnatic. It's maybe a little bit over-aggressive from Fnatic, as, I mean, they come storming up the door, and actually JW, you know, he's gonna have a lot of pressure put on him. Nades ring out to push him back. He still sticks around to eat a little bit of damage. 1 blind, he misses the shot. Gonna grab a new angle, he misses that as well, but he doesn't get away safely. It's Flusha who's now under pressure.
Flusha's got a little bit of swing back though. He can pull himself back towards connector. There's no one else down there. He doesn't know that, but He'll find out pretty soon that he's pretty alone here, but it's Olaf, Dennis, and JW going to hold the site. Olaf's got a rifle as well, but it doesn't matter. His hands have been removed from this round, and dupreeh spots out one just before the smoke, still gets the spray in towards Dennis, and JW, oh, what? Finds dupreeh, still alive, can't do more damage, but Flush has now made his way to the site, and Xyp9x is surrounded. 11 HP, 1 minute on the board, and a lot of hungry Fnatic players closing in.
Yeah, and it looked like he wanted to make his way over towards that B bomb site, but it would have given up his position if he just full out sprinted, so he is very much trapped at the moment. And you can see Fnatic, they're just waiting for him to come back up any of these stairs. Nade comes out, that's not going to do any damage, it's from Flush, and Xyp9x does make his way over towards that B bomb site. So once again, at least going to get a plant, but it's going to take something incredibly heroic here for him to pull this one out.
One flash and a hope and a dream, maybe. Don't get me wrong, Xyp9x has been a big factor for Astralis, but Crims and Flusher now coming back in together. Playing one-to-one, Flusher with a jumping CZ, of course it would be. Gets the kill in the end. They're going to look for the rifle, see what he had there, and there you go. Diffuse is going to come in. Maybe.
I think Flusher's going back for an AWP. So, yeah, just buying a little bit of time. There it is, Flusher does pick up the op. So 10-4 now, and for Astralis, it's another plant. They're gonna have a pretty okay buy. A couple members, Cajun and Xyp9x are sitting right around 4,000. Those should be comfortable on AK-47s, but the rest of them, Tech 9s. Although we have seen the damage they can do, and if Astralis could get up towards 5, I mean, that would be massive for actually how one-sided this half has been towards Fnatic. If they can somehow squeak that 5th round out, that would be massive for them into the next half.
It's just the fact that they haven't picked, well, they picked a one pure gun round.
Yep.
They've had close rounds, and you saw it reflected in the economy once they were able, getting that close to Fnatic, getting those real kills in, but beyond that, they've been struggling so bad here. But here we go. Once again into the breach. Olaf instantly spots out the players trying to work their way through water, and now Crims trying to respond accordingly. Get a packaging away from the site this time. Look for another opportunity. Wait for maybe to see what Astralis are bringing here. Olaf's been spotting these guys out every single time. Lines up the shot. Can't quite get it, but Crims waiting so patiently. They have no idea he's here. He's surrounded by about 4 players, and suddenly he shows his hand, and that's a double. Switches up to the 5-7, makes it a triple. Crims individually doing some insane work here, and he even goes for more, but dupreeh is now outnumbered, outgunned, and about to be out of options as Dennis closes it down, and another one for Fnatic.
That's got to be so frustrating. Crims is... just for good measure.
Play, Flusher.
That play by Crims is incredible. There's not many players who are going to make that kind of a play and that kind of an impact on the round, and that just... I expected him to be a little bit more aggressive, but just waiting for that smoke to start to fade, and then the switch to the pistol on Xyp9x. Astralis, nothing really going their way, even when that sight seemed to be firmly in their favor. So on to the second half. Astralis does not have very many mistakes to give up.
The one thing is that I was so excited to see how Device did with that orb. But I have a horrible feeling we may not get to see it on the CT side.
We definitely didn't see it much on their Terra side because Fnatic just controlled the economy so much early on, and then it got to the point where Astralis just needed rounds. They couldn't even afford to save for that AWP. So, I mean, a really staunch defense set up by Fnatic, and now dupreeh gets a little bit aggressive, force back. 3 members of Fnatic streaming up the stairs very quickly. This is highly aggressive. All 5 members are going to be over towards bathrooms. Olaf is going to clear out long all by himself.
Now, they've spotted that out. Xyp9x is already on the way from B, but suddenly they're like, okay, no one's pushed. So Fnatic showing everything and saying, guys, actually, maybe we don't want to believe in that just yet. Maybe we want to see what we bring later in this round. We've only played with, what, 30-odd seconds. There's a lot more to be seen here. Now, sure, JW's taking a little bit of damage, but yet they've reset what Astralis were bringing. That aggression has been quelled, I guess, at this point, and dupreeh will be watching that push-up device. Already finding Olaf is going to be perfect. That's a great beginning here. The bomb now making its way around. Astralis just need to play this perfectly.
Yeah, they have a man advantage, and actually JW even on 12 HP, so a big advantage in this pistol round for Astralis. Fnatic still haven't made their move. They do have control of bathrooms. They forced this defense passive so early on in the round. But now with so much armor bought up, they have no utility to execute onto this bomb, so they're going to have to win these battles, and here it comes. Dennis with the pistol. Who else? Opens up on a dupreeh. Device is forced back, but he gets the fadeaway. Flusher falls, and there's the trade from Dennis. He continues his aggression, and he gets dropped by Cajun.
Kerrigan's round the back. This isn't over yet. If only those 2 players from Astralis by the time. Fnatic can be flanked upon. JW does get the bomb down, and actually not a great place here, and it's Kerrigan a little bit too late to the punch, and Xyp9x is the one with the pistol to come up with everything they needed, and the defuse will follow Astralis. No one was questioning their pistol rounds, bearing in mind it was the gun rounds that we were looking towards on that T side. Now they may have a shot to actually get that far to prove us wrong here.
Yeah, there's some incredible shots. Once they get that first call into Olaf, all the trades are going to be going in their favor with that man advantage. But, I mean, that fadeaway by Device, Cajun as well, jumping shot onto Dennis, that's sick.
Sexy CS.
Yeah, well, do we see this? Yeah, this one was dirty as well. Oh, it just cuts away. That's unfortunate. With the plant, you can see Fnatic not investing into armor. They have upgraded some pistols to do a little bit of damage if they can, but they're going to go for the AK buy into the third round. So Astralis has got to make sure they don't lose too many of these rifles. Those are going to be so important moving forward.
Fnatic seeing what they're coming up against. There was no stack out. There was no instant nades coming through from Astralis. They're playing this with an air of caution, and you can't really blame them. They need so many rounds here. As you said, they can't afford too many mistakes. It will equate to pretty much the game here. And there we go. Flusher going to make the first couple of shots, at least in any sort of real threatening position, as Xyp9x is the one there just playing off towards the side. He does have the M4, so a little bit more supported by Karrigan than usual, but let's see where this bomb goes. Crims has it in hand, and he's yet to decide, but Olaf's creeping his way up by a long. Device might be caught off by this, actually. And no, he's not. Device controls it well with the M4, and he's going to just slink back towards site. And again, Fnatic not being given too much room here to work.
That's a play that we've seen Fnatic make, you know, pretty frequently on this map, especially when they have guns. As you can see, a little bit of pressure is applied to the B bomb site from Fnatic, hoping that maybe it peels away a rotation for Olaf to find that one-on-one with Device. Device wins it this time, obviously a huge advantage in terms of his arsenal. And now you can see Fnatic, nothing left but to hit this B bomb site. What can they find? Flush and falls. There's JW with the response. Not enough damage dealt, though, and now the rifles come into play. Long range. Fnatic is more than likely going to get nothing else. JW down into red HP, and Xyp9x holding the angle.
I love the way JW is crouched under that, though. Like, he's still looking for a chance. He's got 20 seconds, and never say never with JW, I guess, and back into it we go. Swings out. Not going to get anything closed down in the end by Dupree. So, Astralis follow up as true to trend with the second round. Hell, they even closed the third in the first half. See if they can do it again. This time a little bit more of a challenge, let's just say, as the rifles have come to play, 4 to be precise, and then Olaf just going to go for the scout into this one. P90 still on Karrigan. And again, if he plays that towards Monster, still maybe has some viability, maybe, but we'll see where he takes that, as it looks like Fnatic are picking up the pace here.
3 members quickly out towards the B bomb site.
Oh.
Olaf, okay. Is this a boost
no.
jumping scout?
Yep. No.
Oh, the train.
The train.
That's
train
so cruel.
MVP.
Still, like any moment this could happen here.
I'm so desperate for this to happen again. I want to see another thing put on this map because of what Olaf Meister has done to it.
That train just saved somebody's life.
Who was it up there?
Cajun, I believe.
If only he knew. Big fan. Yeah. The train there, but Karrigan's the one who's going to be tested now. He's got the P90, and he does pretty well with it. Trades it out in the end, gets the information, but the bomb was actually working its way through Monster, but actually Xyp9x is the only one on this site. HMB's pretty far back at this point, and Xyp9x in a very typical position here. Could be worked out quite quickly by Fnatic, but he does step himself back. Now the smoke will cover off Fnatic as they need. Olaf Meister does find Cajun, but at the sacrifice of a hell of a lot of HP. They are very low here for Fnatic. The bomb is planted, but JW takes the aggressive peek then and actually works out against Xyp9x now 3v2. They have the upper hand. Dupree and Device on the retake. Need to work out where these players are, and look who is lurking in that smoke. JW, oh my god, he's still there.
That's not good. He's missing completely.
Oh.
Finally, Olaf finds him. Thank God. Device gonna drop one more smoke on it. Flashbang as well. He does get that kill, but he's got to stick this defuse. He's gonna get on it. Olaf's very low. He gets dropped as well. One more that he's got to deal with is Crims. This bomb is just too far gone, even with the kill. So Fnatic outlast Astralis in all the smokes and flashes that were dropped into that bomb site.
I just love the fact that JW just sat there just knifing, just holding down mouse one, just hoping.
Thank God Olaf found him in the smoke, because JW, he sitting in that smoke, he probably tried to line it up before that second smoke came out and just thought he had it. Couldn't find him, but Olaf bails him out.
These rounds are incredibly close, again, but it's not quite the way Astralis need this to go. Close or not, it doesn't really matter. It's about the victory at the end, and look at this buy-up coming out. Yeah,
well, this is the most crucial round, because if Astralis loses this, they are fully invested into it. All of a sudden, they have no money, and Fnatic's going to be at 13. So this AWP from Device is the strongest thing they've got, and it's got to come up huge. Dupree hears two members, Olaf and Crims, just stomping past. They're gonna not check. Olaf gets caught off guard.
No one checked that. They had 4 players moving past. Now, Cajun B actually might be a little bit surprised that actually 2 players were coming up long at this point because no one looked out for dupreeh, and dupreeh is still doing what he does best, causing havoc. Crims goes down, and dupreeh still in the perfect spot. That is the bomb, but now Cajun B needs to be on with the AWP here. Doesn't get a thing achieved with it. Still a bit of damage being traded out, but this has halted the Fnatic assault. Xyp9x perfectly flashed in towards long, tries to spray into it, doesn't catch much again. And dupreeh still on the run. He's picked up a gun and suddenly it all goes wrong. 58 seconds, 3v3. The bomb can be recovered and these guys will once again have the play of the map.
Astralis is out of utility as well. With 50 seconds left, they're gonna have to find some kind of information because JW and Dennis are just watching the flank. Flush are watching towards this A bomb site. But no one from Astralis wants to be the one to give up that kill. If Xyp9x just trying to jump over these boxes, he does spot Flush is still here. That pulls Cajun B back, at least for the moment.
For now. Xyp9x been praised so much in the last couple of days. Again, going to be asking a big question in this one of having to deal with Fnatic about to come in towards the site. If they do, about 18 seconds, they need to commit pretty soon. Cajun B's back on his way around, but it is Xyp9x who's going to be making first contact. Shoulder peek comes out from Dennis, and that is a swift removal from the side. Cajun B is there, but with 10 seconds left, Fnatic have the bomb. Cajun with a stunner hits and takes down JW, giving a chance into this round. Dennis now down to 14. Flusher sitting pretty, but so aggressive. Cajun's expecting this, but he can't do anything about it. And now Flusher's on the loose, and Carrigan is terrified.
Oh, that's a nice little death cam fake from Flusha, jumping down, acting like he's going to get arrested, force Carrigan to turn around and chase him down, waste more time on the clock. Now he's in a safe position. Dennis, low HP, he's going to fall, so there is a promise on Carrigan as well, but he's really got no chance into this round. Flusha has played this so perfectly, so he's going to outlast him. The one saving grace is that Carrigan has found that AWP.
Close again. But another, again, what?
There goes the silver lining. So nothing going right for Astralis whatsoever.
Wah, wah, wah.
Just a nice kick in the gut as a parting gift. 13-6 now, and it's gonna have to be a save for Astralis. They've got nothing they can bring into this round. And even the next one is gonna be a little bit sketchy.
This is a devastating performance from Fnatic as well. They've been closing down these rounds so well, and Astralis, sadly for them, been getting close. People like dupreeh, I think it was that round with the CZ, having a big step up, but it made no odds towards the end of the way it played out. Now Astralis, as you said, down on nothing. You said how imperative that round was, how important it was to the bigger picture here for Astralis, and it didn't work out the way they wanted. However, Astralis this time going on a fact-finding mission, it seems. Xyp9x and Carrigan trying to do what they can. Device going to be met by Olaf with a UMP. Well, I guess if he saw Flusher using it, maybe he can have a bit of enjoyment with it. And it's actually Dennis and Flusher to be doing the cleaning up here. They're a little low, but there's so little to work with. Oh, Device.
Is he going for a knife? I honestly thought he was going to go for a knife there. At least someone jumped at him. Yeah, they've been vicious with these knives lately. And Carrigan, I mean, he can clean someone up, but he's not going to find any of the low age. He does bring Olaf down to 3, but 14 rounds now for Fnatic. And Astralis is going to have to buy into this. And once again, much like the first half, their utility, their nades are just far surpassed by Fnatic. They are not going to have a lot of options open to them.
And for me, this game has been about Flusher. The kills he's been bringing in, T side, CT side, were absolutely huge. And not only that, they've been a pure frustration. His play on the CT side, holding down A aggressively, supporting all the others, was absolutely sublime. But now it's time to see what they can do on this T side. Again, a little bit of a switch up here, turning attention towards B, and it's going to be, oh, Dennis with a stunning opener. Carrigan just gets absolutely decimated. And you're into this 5v4 already, and Fnatic are looking dominant. They're looking confident, which is even more scary when they're taking those sort of peaks and hitting those sort of shots. You got to wonder, can anyone step up to the plate?
Well, there's Xyp9x. He finds one from water. Now he's got a new position. There is a little bit of smoke blocking off Fnatic, so they postured so aggressively after that opening kill. Haven't been able to find anything until just now. Crims drops Cajun. Xyp9x still the surviving defender at this B bomb site. He's hiding behind smoke. He's got Olaf very, very low, but hasn't been able to find anything since then. And Astralis has got to be wondering what's going on. Xyp9x with a pop flash is going to push through. He can't find anything still. And Fnatic is just slow playing this.
Just making Astralis sweat. Panic going to be coming through, going, guys, where are they? We don't know. No one's able to see the rotate, so they don't know if they're fully committed, if there's a couple here. Oh, but I tell you right now, Fnatic are all here, and Xyp9x is going to be in trouble very, very soon. Olafmeister is low, but the rest are doing the damage. And there's dupreeh doing what he can do as much as he can. There's 3 kills back to back, but it's Olafmeister now in a 1v2. 30 seconds, bomb not quite to hand. And this should be all Astralis' round. Not as quiet as he wanted there. Gonna get the bomb. And I don't see a way he can bring this to 2 individual 1v1s.
No, Astralis is playing this so well. And actually, the timing, just as he goes to plant the bomb. Oh, he's going to go for the no-scope because he can't commit too much. There he goes.
God.
He gets the first one. Now he has to plant this bomb here. Actually, he pulls the fake. The mind games, and he wins it! Of course he does. It's Olaf Meister.
That is an absolute masterclass into how to play almost an impossible 1v2. Play the time, play the players, and play out of your mind. Olaf Meister, what a goddamn player. This guy, 1 round away now from the map 1 under their belt. Fnatic 15-6, Astralis floundering under what Fnatic are bringing to this matchup. And individually as a team, whatever you want to put it to, Fnatic are outshining Astralis on what I thought was going to be a very close map.
That's ice cold from Olaf. Faking the plant, and if he doesn't get that kill, if there's no peek, if for whatever reason there's no movement from for the remaining defender there, it's just game over automatically. What a play, and now there it is, Dupree. He does find the first kill onto Dennis. Can he get away though? He does deal some damage to Olaf, who's playing far back, but he's surrounded, he's pinched in. Nade's gonna come out, JW finds the kill anyways. And just jumps with his knife out and gets taken out by Cajun with the deagle.
I guess at 15-6, you know, why not? But there is a lot on the line here. It's just JW, you know, when it works out, it looks great. When it doesn't, questionable. But we are left in a 3v4. Now, I doubted Olaf in a 1v2, so I'll never do that again, and it's 55 seconds. They got a lot of time here, but aggressive positioning from Astralis could cost Fnatic a couple of players, and it's on this man, Cajun, about to be peeked by Crims. Crims did have a lovely little angle on that, just crouching underneath it, but of course he hit the shot, and now A could have been theirs, but actually taking an air of caution. But look who's around the back here, Zivnik's almost there on time, but so limited amounts to work with here.
Yeah, and they know where 2 players are now, so there's no reason for them to slow down. They know at the very worst they have a 3-on-1, but Kerrigan's gonna win the opening battle. That smoke's gonna prevent them from finding him initially, but Flusha just keeps pushing forward. Now it's all on device. This bomb is being planted, 2-on-2, and it's a tough situation for Astralis with first map on the line.
2v2 as said, device gets challenged down, and it's rinse and repeat. The timing is vicious from Fnatic. Zivnik's now in this 1v2 retake. No kid, he's got to make his move. Fnatic set up well, and it's Flusha to come up with it in the end. 3 kills to close down map 1, and Fnatic turn up and mean business. You questioned them earlier, maybe. You could have maybe said this could be Astralis' moment to find something deeper to pull out, but no. Fnatic have had enough today. They've already smashed the Virtus Pro Hearts. Why not get some Danes to bring down?
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine Anders is feeling a little sick after watching that one. That was a ridiculous match from Flusha, though. There was at one point, you can see Flusha in some of these rounds. He just is almost like he's the villain in like a horror movie where he just never stops like moving forward. He's just like slowly walking, always chasing, and he's always gonna find his prey.
It's unbelievable to witness how good he is at playing these situations, whether it's smoke in play, whether he doesn't have maybe the advantage of weaponry. It didn't really matter. His CZ coming out on the CT side was insane again, buying so much time for Fnatic to make the right play. It didn't even matter if he was super aggressive or not. He would always buy just enough time for someone to come around and support. But I think we're going to take a very short break here on the casting side of things. But you said maybe Anders not feeling so good. Let's find out how he's holding up.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Not the 2-0 we expected or we're anticipating from Astralis by any stretch of imagination. Some issues in that game, and again, Olaf showing some balls in that 1 versus 2, I have to say. Who takes 2 peaks with 3 HP like that?
That's just saying
That's just
CS,
beautiful
you know?
Counter-Strike. That's just beautiful.
No, Anders. It's basically, he laid it out on the table. It made this sound. And said, measure it.
And then Henry G walked in and said, wow.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
buddy, that's what happened with Olaf there. Because, you know, and Joe, it was funny because Joe had the exact same reaction. It was just like, why would he do that? And Astralis are probably thinking the exact same thing, Joe. Why would he do that?
And surfed down the wall to stay quiet. Like, everything was so well thought
Oh,
out.
he was super sick, man.
Why does Astralis not double peek that, though, right? One guy left. AWP.
I think this round is irrelevant.
Yeah, it is. In some ways, it is. This map was made by Fnatic in about 10 rounds in the first half, when essentially Astralis managed to get themselves into something that looks like basically 10 either 2-on-2s or 2v3s, where they have the bomb down and still manage to lose the afterplant, which is so ridiculous. If you just imagine you put yourself and say, we've got 10 rounds with random Fnatic and Astralis members, they're playing 2v2, how many of them would Astralis win? I don't think many people will say, oh, it's going to be 100% Fnatic all the way, you know? It's absolutely, especially with the bomb is down, but so it's partly due to Astralis just not understanding how to play the afterplant on that B bomb side especially. It also comes down to Fnatic having an incredible understanding of how to take these bomb sites. They play them so slowly that actually you can almost tell that Astralis get a little bit confused and concerned about the fact that nothing is happening. They're thinking they're not doing anything. So they push up the peak, then they get shot because they peak, and then Fnatic managed to defuse the bomb with like 2 seconds left. Oh. So their intuition for these retakes is insane.
Or they just turn around because they think that, okay, if they're waiting this long, maybe they're waiting for someone to flank us.
Yeah.
They get confused. But yeah, out of the 11 rounds Fnatic won in the first half, 7 of those were by defuse. So you had at least 7 after plant situations. And even after that, I think at least 2 other rounds were, you know, 2v2s, 3v3s, where the bomb wasn't planted, but it ended up going Fnatic's way. And that's, you know, you were talking about it as well in the green room, saying that Astralis, every time they do the hard job, they do the hard part, they get to the bomb site, they get to the plant, they get into a favorable position, right, on paper, but they manage to throw it away every time.
Now, what you're saying is you're implying that that's the easy part, right? You know, that you get the bomb plant, then no.
Getting the entries, getting the bomb down, yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. Not against Fnatic. Actually, like the whole game, installing the
it's
game
all hard.
is hard mode, and then you kind of like have to progress from
The
there.
easy part is
that-
Alt F4ing midway through. That's just the
Actually, I mean, I think that Fnatic make people want to do that.
I think it's also pretty obvious, like, which team will, after losing a pistol round and being down 3-0 as CT on Overpass, push up mid with rifles in the first gun round with no fear? Only Fnatic, and Flusha goes and gets a quad kill, you know, in the first gun round, and of course goes on to have an amazing game.
They're so good, it's almost unreal. And now that we're glorifying Fnatic anyway, should I point out as well, because we saw Khan down in the audience, and I just checked with him on Twitter as well, because you were saying this, Sedekist. I confirmed that he landed yesterday at about 11, flying in from China, 16-hour flight to be here with the team. What kind of ridiculous dedication is that? Like, it isn't a coincidence. I mean, the backup that this team has is also kind of ridiculous. So
I mean,
that's some real dedication.
They were the LoL team and the Heroes team and the Raven
sure.
team.
But I mean, he's here now for the CS team playing at 1 in the morning.
Fnatic was
Karn is
on
a
Counter-Strike.
That's pretty impressive.
That's
pretty impressive.
Yeah, that is super impressive. I mean, we talk about organizations and support and how much it can go. Speaking of support, hopefully there's some moral support for Astralis still left, because they do now go into the third map, or rather, excuse me, the second map, Cache. I didn't really.
Yeah, this is where this is the issue here, and this is going through Astralis' minds, and this is probably what was going through Astralis' minds about halfway through this match versus Fnatic, where they started to figure out this is slipping out of our hands, guys, and we kind of need to win this map because our Cache is not something that we can count on beating Fnatic with. So you know, there's a bit of a problem here if we drop this first map. And you know that this is going through Astralis' minds, where they're just thinking to themselves, we've lost control of the situation, and oh God, it's happening again.
Yeah.
Well, you know, not to get stuck on Overpass, but I actually think for those 9 rounds until they finally won sort of 1 round right at the end of the half, I think for those 9 rounds, I think Astralis must have been thinking, we're doing fine. You know, we keep being in 2v2s, we get the bomb down, that's fine, no problem. We just need to win 1 round. And then that's it. They won the round, but they managed to save 1 rifle, Fnatic. Then they force up and keep winning. And I think at that point, Astralis...
JW had an op.
Yeah, JW had an op.
Yeah.
And I think at that point, Astralis must be like, this is the most ridiculous game we've ever played. I mean, we are winning, but we're just not winning.
Yeah. but in that sense, I think that if they could keep the same mindset, just going, okay, guys, we actually... we're playing well, you know, in certain aspects of the game, right? We just need to step up our comms and individual play when it comes to afterplat situations, and we can still, you know, have the edge. I agree that Overpass was a much better map for them than Cache's, but still, I think the mindset is there.
Actually, if I can just continue the spanking a little bit of Astralis, what is really, really annoying then, and upsetting to watch, is that because Fnatic was so good at beating them in the retakes when Fnatic won the CT side, you'd think that Astralis were like, all right, we've actually lost like 10 rounds to this particular type of retake that's very slow but sort of very measured, where they're waiting for us to make a mistake, we make the mistake and then they go. You'd think they could do the same when they were on the CT side, but they also failed to do that, because Astralis played it oppositely. They actually went to try and fight before the bomb is even down. Yes. They sort of take fight. You see Sip down in the B bomb side. peeking through smoke, trying to see if you could do it, and eventually they lose too many people, and then Fnatic just like, sweet.
That's where the Crims guy comes into mind. He's so good at being efficient and staying alive in those situations.
Well, Zipnix is supposed to be the king of that, actually. We saw that earlier in the tournament during the group stage, where I was just blown away by his ability to turn 1vx situations into 1v1s, just by playing the angles, just by playing very intelligent CS. So you could tell that the nerves were definitely getting to him, because he actually had a fairly poor match, due to plays like the one Anders just described, where he was trying to force things, which is very odd, for Zipnix. He's usually the calm, patient guy who kind of waits for things to happen, and then he reacts to that. No, like Zipnix was, it felt like he might have been trying to make things happen, and that's not his role. Should be Dupree, should be Cajun, should be these guys who step in, and then Zipnix is the guy who's supposed to come in and actually clean things up and make everything nice and neat again, and and then Cajun can just go and eat bacon, get drunk, and wreck it all again. I don't know how it works.
Eat bacon and get drunk sounds good this time of night. I'm not gonna lie.
Danish.
I am Canadian. I love beer and I love bacon and many other
bacon
things.
shots, you know that?
We have bacon shots and we have maple syrup shots, and those are even better. But only thing better than maple syrup shots is Counter-Strike. We've got another map at least, and Fnatic, I have to say, in full control. We'll see if Astralis can find a way back into it in just a minute.